Here we go. It's not Commonwealth this time, but EDSA. What is your reaction to this? We know back then you were opposing and trial run pa lang yung nasa Commonwealth. Ano ba yung naging resulta nun? And what does that mean applying that to the EDSA?
Well, the motorcycle lane has been here since 2012 when it started. And it has been under study from different levels and from different administrations. And the truth is it hasn't done anything good for any situation on EDSA. Now, on Commonwealth, they started it again, and again, as predicted, the exclusivity has not been fairly approached or implemented in any way. So when we see them doing operations on Commonwealth, they focus on the motorcycles leaving the lane, but they do not focus on the other vehicles who take up the lane when they're not supposed to.
Jobert,
we
let
see
me
this
interrupt.
disparity.
Because actually, to be fair to everyone on the road, nobody sticks to their lanes. And
Yes.
that's everyone, right? So it's not just the motorcycle lanes going out of their lane or the cars going into the motorcycle lane, or for that matter, the bicycle lane. There's people also jaywalking. Ano ba talaga yung solusyon na hindi ini-implement?
Here's what people are forgetting. There's a problem, and that problem is traffic. And when you approach a problem, you look at the root cause of the problem. And the root cause is discipline. And discipline is a shared responsibility of all, not just motorcycle riders, not just pedestrians, not just car drivers, but also in the public transport sector. So what needs to be done here is first focus on the existing laws. Implement them properly. Implement them strictly. Make sure that everybody follows the laws, enforce it, and then penalize and make accountable those who violate these laws, regardless of what kind of vehicle they use. And with that, we bring back discipline on the streets. Because right now, there is no discipline. And the lack of it is getting worse every day. We had hoped that the strictness in issuance of licenses would help, but it has done very little. And right now, it's just worse. I mean, the volume is not helping. It's growing. And the lack of discipline is also a problem. Now, the enforcement being impartial when they enforce the laws is not also helping. It's making it harder for motorcycle riders who are being singled out in situations like the motorcycle lane. What we want to see here is fair treatment on the road and to the people.
Jobert, hindi ba itong motorcycle lane nga yung magiging solusyon para kumbaga hindi kung saan pumupunta yung mga motorsiklo, they will have a dedicated lane. Disiplina lang ba talaga? Hindi ba parang yun yung parang kumbaga wala ka ng choice eh. Yung mas maraming natatraffic, frustration yun kasi kaya nag-change ng lane.
The problem with exclusivity is the design of the road itself. Like in Commonwealth, we have a lot of exit and entry points along Commonwealth, and we have a lot of establishments along Commonwealth. So the exclusivity does not exist because people will go into these establishments, they will exit the road, they will enter the road, and they will crisscross the lane no matter what they say or what exclusivity they put down to that particular lane. It's the same with EDSA. And the fact of the matter is, it's because of the traffic. That's why people instinctively try to find ways around what's blocking them in front. And this does not happen. It's easier with a motorcycle. That's admitted.
Yes.
But we see this with other vehicles as well. And when you look at Commonwealth as the test bed nga, after 10 years, it's still a test bed, and it has remained a test bed. There are certain points there that 2 to 3 lanes are being blocked by public transport, and they're not doing anything about it. And that blockage affects the other lanes. Kahit gaano kalapad yung Commonwealth, it still blocks the flow of traffic at some point because several lanes are being occupied when they're not supposed to be occupied, and they're not doing anything about it.
Right.
But
So,
when
Jobert,
it comes to the motorcycle rider, the moment you leave the lane, tapos ka na.
Right. Jobert, is your group or do you have knowledge if other groups are being consulted about this proposal by the government?
Well, before they re-implemented it for this year, we had written to MMDA about it. We had written to LTO about it. The only agency that responded is LTO, but they were pointing us towards the direction of MMDA. MMDA never consulted us. They never even invited us, the same way that they have not answered any of our letters since 2012.
oh, okay. As we know, Jobert, the pandemic has led to, I think, a lot of motorcycle sales. I'm not sure if your group has some data on exactly how much more motorcycles we are seeing now and that are also on the roads with everybody else sharing it. Gaano kalaki nga ba, no, yung jump sa motorcycle
Well,
owners?
I have the numbers for pre-pandemic, and pre-pandemic, based on the sales of motorcycles as reported by the dealers and importers, manufacturers, we're looking at a number between 12 to 15 million motorcycles on the streets all over the country. Now, with a steady growth of motorcycle sales, especially post-pandemic or post-pandemic, the growth again was there because a lot of people who lost their cars during the pandemic are now turning into motorcycles. And with the influx of delivery services, motorcycle taxi services, so there's a lot more this time. So the estimated number is between 16 and 17 million.
Okay, Jobert. So if like you said, and I think we kind of see the eye to eye on this, that disiplina talaga yung problema. Ano yung nakikita niyong solusyon, no, na mas long term? Enforcement, I mean, we don't really have a good track record with enforcement as well. Is your group pushing to maybe include some sort of road etiquette class in school to DepEd or what have you?
Yeah, we've been trying to contact all agencies involved, or who can give a portion of their capacity to help with the problem. Number one is adding rules and regulations to the curriculum, which the Philippines has not done so. Dapat matagal na tong ginagawa. Of course, stricter enforcement of road rules and regulations with the help of new technology, with the help of non-contact apprehension. That's very useful. Fighting fire with fire, meaning we put enforcement on the road with the road users, arm them with vehicles with cameras so that they can collect evidence while they ply the road. And of course, enhancing the teeth of our enforcement to make sure that they implement the existing laws. Kasi here's one thing that I want people to realize. When we go to places like Subic and Clark, you notice that the people inside are very disciplined because they know that the rules are being implemented and enforced strictly. But once they leave these places, it's a whole different story. It's like it's like, a bird coming out of its cage.
Robert,
and
ihabol
letting
ko
loose.
lang may nag-viral kasi na video na kanina may nahuli na Move It rider, parang ilang enforcers yun Tapos possible na mawalan ng license to operate yung Move It rider. Did you see that video?
Yes, and the
So, do you agree
actions
with that?
there warrant removal of license talaga.
You agree with that? The way
I agree with that. So kami hindi namin kinukonsinti yung ganyan
Tolerate, yeah.
Kung mali ka And that's one of the biggest problems that we have right now is because in our own backyard, it's very hard for us to do the cleanup. Now, you're going to enforce something that promotes segregation and a little bit of discrimination. It doesn't help. But if we apply the laws equally to everyone, people will participate and people will follow. We've seen it happen before, but this does not help.
All right. Thank you so much for weighing in on that with us about the exclusive motorcycle lane. Motorcycle Rights Organization Chairman Jobert Bolanos.